Men don't cry. They are the protectors, those who never falter, the ones who ensure a family's financial stability. A firm hand, a rational mind, and above all, no visible weakness. Women, on the other hand, juggle multiple lives with grace. The perfect mother, devoted wife, accomplished professional, all while staying impeccably beautiful. They must smile, accept, and sometimes even sacrifice their dreams to meet the expectations of those around them. But why do these roles persist? Why do these invisible expectations weigh so heavily on our shoulders, shaping every decision, every interaction? Patriarchy is not just a relic of the past, it is a framework that continues to define our behaviors, often without us realizing it. By questioning these preconceived notions, we can begin to understand how they influence our lives and envision a future where roles no longer limit but liberate. To understand patriarchy, we must look back in time. Historically, human societies evolved around structures that valued physical strength and divided tasks by gender. Men, as hunters or warriors, were seen as protectors and providers, while women took care of children and domestic tasks. These roles, though suited to specific contexts, became rigid over centuries. Religion, traditions, and political systems often reinforced these dynamics, placing men above women in the social hierarchy. For example, in ancient Greece, citizenship and political power were reserved for men, while women were relegated to the domestic sphere. In many cultures, inheritance laws favored sons, perpetuating economic and social inequalities. Today, even though these roles may seem outdated in many parts of the world, they continue to shape how we view relationships, structure families, and judge individuals. The expectations tied to gender roles can be stifling. Here are some examples. A man who expresses his emotions is often seen as weak or ineffective. This stigma can lead to mental health issues that remain unaddressed, because seeking help is viewed as a failure of masculinity. A woman who chooses not to have children is judged as selfish or abnormal. Society often pressures women into believing their worth is tied to motherhood, sidelining their personal ambitions. A father who stays home to care for his children must constantly justify his choice, facing criticism for not fulfilling the traditional breadwinner role. These expectations create immense pressure on individuals. For instance, young boys are often discouraged from pursuing careers or hobbies deemed feminine, such as nursing or dance, even if these align with their passions. Similarly, women in leadership roles frequently face double standards, being labeled as too aggressive or too soft, depending on their approach. These pressures can lead to burnout, depression, or feelings of failure. Worse, they perpetuate inequalities by preventing people from thriving in roles they freely choose. The first step in deconstructing these expectations is to identify them. This requires honest introspection. What beliefs about gender roles have we internalized? For example, consider how media and advertising reinforce stereotypes. Television commercials often depict women as caretakers and men as decision makers, subtly embedding these roles into societal consciousness. Recognizing such influences is key to breaking free from them. Next, we must engage in dialogue. Openly discussing these issues with those around us can help break taboos and challenge norms that seem unchangeable. For instance, workplace policies that encourage parental leave for both mothers and fathers can normalize shared responsibilities at home. Finally, education is essential. Future generations should not bear the weight of past prejudices. Schools that introduce inclusive curriculums teaching both boys and girls about empathy, emotional intelligence, and equality can pave the way for more balanced perspectives. By offering them diverse and inclusive role models, we enable them to create relationships and structures based on equality and mutual respect. Challenging patriarchy is not an attack on men or women, but a call for freedom for all. By recognizing and rejecting limiting expectations, we can build a society where everyone is free to choose their role without judgment or constraint. So let's ask ourselves this question: what if we redefined what it means to be a man or a woman in today's world? Imagine a world where boys are free to cry and girls are free to lead without judgment. Thank you for listening to this episode. Let's continue this conversation together and move toward a more balanced future.